Andrew Jessup. He's on your left. Number 6 on our SCG Tour Player of the Year leaderboard against number 19. It's Infect, it's Burn, it's Jessup, it's Juliano underway right now in round number 7 from Orlando. See who's going to be on the plate here in just a moment as well. These changes definitely, as you mentioned, these strike me as changes where you do want to beat your Juns, your Obzons, your Bantel Drazis of the world. I mean, I haven't seen Flames of the Bloodhand in years.
Yep. I've occasionally, over the last 5 or so years of Modern, 4 years of Modern, messed around with, Flame Javelin at times. It showed up in my list when I felt like I really needed to interact with Restoration Angel and Deceiver Exarch, along with just trying to have as much range as possible. But 3 mana is a lot for this deck.
Ripbolt's going upstairs. Arid Mesa here for Juliano, pass the turn back. Jessup is going to fall down to 16 as he will search of a breeding pool off of the Verdant Catacombs. And we'll see Andrew take his second turn here in just a moment. Now, he did draw a Glistener Elf for his first draw step of the game, but he didn't want to play it into the face of that Rift Bolt.
Yep. He needs to protect his 1 threat as much as he possibly can. Also needs to be careful with his life total, of course, in this matchup, so interesting to see what he'll be doing with his Windswept Teeth.
He's going to play and sacrifice it right away.
Deck usually functions fine on just the 1 blue source of mana, so probably doesn't have to get a second breeding pool here.
Yep, basic forest. Juliano's someone we saw really start to make a name for himself at the back end of last year at our Las Vegas Invitational, where he made top 8 there. Here's Noble Hierarch. Starting to travel to some more events. Not sure if he's in range for the Players' Championship this year. You'd have to have a really good Season 3. I don't think an overall bid is in the cards for him unless he goes on one heck of a run. And so here's Twisted Image, I think. Here's a Searing Blaze.
All right, so, he's just doing it in the response to cycle. I was going to say,
Sure.
This does not fizzle the Searing Blaze because there are 2 targets.
Yep.
But if he's just doing that because he wants to cycle the Twisted Image, that's fine.
Yep. So Jessup will take 3. He's going to fall down to 12. This is a Goblin Guide. That is an attack for 2. Trigger has become immense. That's a good one to know about. Jessup's going to fall down to 10. And Juliano got to pass the turn back with another Searing Blaze in hand.
And a Boros Charm, really solid leftovers here.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of coming around on Burn.
I think the deck's still fine.
I think it's actually pretty good in Modern. It's got a bad, that's the word I want to use.
Reputation.
Yeah, that's actually the exact word I want to use. It does have a bad reputation, but I don't think it's fair for it to have that because I actually think the deck is just really good.
Yeah, won a Grand Prix very recently.
Yeah.
Play it from time to time.
Oh, you do?
I've got the 75 on Magic Online, and by which I mean the 75 plus every iteration of the 75 that you could imagine.
Here's a Blighted Agent. That's not going to live very long.
You're dead.
Yeah. Juliano's going to sacrifice that Arid Mesa. I think we're going to see Sacred Foundry here.
Yep.
Yep.
Searing Blaze here, a Boros Charm, an attack, and a Skullcrack as the leftover. So I think we'll be going to game 2 in a moment.
There is a supposed to be a Boros Charm going upstairs, Prowess Trigger, beatdowns, all that good stuff. Christopher Juliano going to very quickly win game number 1 here over Andrew Jessup. The Burn up a game over the Infect.
Yeah, Jessup there with kind of a clunky draw. Had to fade the Rift Bolt for 1 turn. Couldn't get any footing in the game. And Juliano with a very fast, I believe that was turn 4?
I think so.
Turn 4 win.
Yeah. All right, sideboard time. We're going to start with Mr. Jessup and his Infect deck. Now, 3 Spell Pierce, 3 Nature's Claim, 2 Dismember, 1 Twisted Image, 1 Grafdigger's Cage, 1 Dried Arbor, and I think obviously the most important one, 4 Kitchen Finks.
Some Finks in the sink.
Yes.
Going to be dusting those off for sure. I think the 3 copies of Spell Pierce as well will be coming in.
Now, you're obviously a seasoned Burn player. This is Finks coming from an Infect deck as opposed to Finks coming from like Obzon Company or something like that. Still really good?
Still really good. Especially from the Burn side of the table, you're pretty liberal with your life total because you just assume it's not going to matter. So Finks as a clock is a pretty significant thing. And it's also just 2 removal spells. It requires, it does a lot of blocking. Infect can win the game with Kitchen Finks.
Okay.
for sure.
Other side of things, 3 Deflecting Palm, 2 Ensnaring Bridge, 2 Wear Tear, 2 Path to Exile, 2 Searing Blood, 2 Lightning Helix, and 2 Smash to Smithereens here for Christopher Juliano.
I can get behind the 2 copies of Searing Blood, the 2 copies of Path to Exile. I suspect Ensnaring Bridge is a little slow for this matchup, but it does have the potential to soft lock Jessup. I don't think I would bring it in, but if it's in the sideboard, it's likely to be for matchups like this.
Well, those are the options there for both players. They will shuffle up. Andrew Jessup will be on the play here in just a moment. But let's talk about the Season 2 schedule here on the Season 3 schedule here on the SCG Tour. Pardon me, where we closed out Season 2 and began Season number 3 in New Jersey, where Liam Lonigan won that invitational, so he's headed to the Players' Championship. And then Richmond, a couple weeks ago, it was Ted Felicetti who actually won that tournament. So he got his season 3 off to a great start. Someone's going to win here in Orlando, and then 2 weeks from now, Kaladesh release weekend in Indy.
Yeah, week off for the pre-release, and then we start standard October 1 and 2 in Indianapolis. We take a week off, and then the regional championships. Go.starcgames.com/regionals. Find the regional championship closest to you. After that, we head to Milwaukee for Modern. Then we close out the season in Baltimore, Columbus, and Knoxville, and then the Season 3 Invitational, December 2nd through the 4th in Atlanta, Georgia, standard and modern as the invitational formats.
Let's talk play match, shall we? You play a standard opener class, you're going to get the very powerful Dark Salvation playmat. Now, if you prefer a little modern action like our players do today, it'll be Steel Overseer. And then for Legacy, spin the top, play some miracles like Jola said. It'll be Sensei's Divining Top. Again, free and exclusive playmats with entry into any Season 3 Open or Classic for Standard, Modern, and Legacy. So please feel free to join us on the SCG Tour, especially next weekend, or excuse me, 2 weekends from now. Kaladesh release weekend, that's the one.
Going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
New standard, big rotation. You and I will be calling that one.
And in a great city.
Indianapolis, great convention city.
Yeah, awesome city. Gonna maybe take a little visit to the Noodles and Company.
Most likely, yes.
Most likely dabble over there. Maybe the Steak and Shake.
Almost certainly.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be a good time out there. That's for sure. And hey, cannot forget the Weber Grill.
Yeah.
The Weber Grill is a dealer.
Yep.
That's a nice restaurant.
Now, St. Elmo's is an icon. It's an institution.
Of course.
And if you want to go there, that's fine. If you're looking for value of your dollar with a good dining experience, go to the grill.
The Weber Grill kind of flies under the radar.
It is.
That's what it does.
It's not on the main drag, too. That's part of it. It's kind of off the street a little bit,
Yeah.
and so people miss it. But
Christopher Juliano will be on the draw this game, but he's currently up a game against Andrew Jessup. We learn a little bit more about him. Pretty good Magic player here is number 19 on the SCG Tour Player of the Year leaderboard. Been getting to watch him play a little bit more, especially with that invitational top 8 for the 24-year-old from New York. One open top 8, one invitational top 8, but he's looking to add some more to that this week, and he's off to a great start. Graduated from SUNY with a mathematics degree and computer science minor. Loves playing recreational sports, especially volleyball, and his entire Instagram is dedicated to the food he eats while traveling.
for future reference, and I know that you're not from New York or
I
the surrounding areas, it's SUNY.
Oh, is it?
State University of New York, that basket of colleges is referred to as SUNY.
Oh, well, thank you. I didn't know that.
There you go.
Very good. Monastery Swift Spear here. Going to come in for one. You saw Jessup start off with a fetch land. Get a basic forest off the Windswept Heath. Play a Noble Hierarch. Great start for an Infect deck. And now we're underway. Is that like upper state New York?
No, it's all over.
It's all
I mean,
over?
there's SUNYs on Long Island and yeah, it's
Okay.
like it's like the New York equivalent of Cal State X.
Okay, sure.
You
Okay,
know.
that makes sense. That's actually like a perfect way to describe it. Jessup will search up another basic forest. Not real interested in finding the old breeding pools here against the burn deck.
And if you can avoid it, take as little damage as possible.
This is a Blighted Agent with a little mana up here for potentially a pump spell as we head back over to Christopher Juliano. Path to Exile, I think, the draw?
Yep, and that's a
Yeah.
big one here, as Jessup can potentially play over the top of burn spells with his own pump spells, but Path just works.
Mountain, Arid Mesa, some other things going on here. There's a basic mountain in a minute, I believe. Maybe not. Juliano in an interesting spot here against Andrew Jessup.
The ideal, if you're in Juliano's position, is to be able to cast 2 spells this turn that impact the Blighted Agent. Failing that, you want to set yourself up to be able to play 2 spells the following turn. So if you can cast a 2-mana spell this turn to set yourself up for a 1-mana spell plus a 2-mana spell the next turn, that's your best shot of getting the Blighted Agent off the table.
Hiya! In for one. and only one.
And see, while I was playing a lot of Zoo, why my preferred sideboard card for this matchup was Gut Shot, because Juliano's hand is jammed up, and the most that you could do for 0 mana against Infect is that's the most valuable thing, because they play such a mana efficient game.
Going to suspend Rift Bolt. And going to leave Path available. Yep. Okay. I'm going to go over to Jessup now. It's never a good feeling playing against Infect. You feel like you're just going to die on every single turn. Oh, boy.
Definitely. It's very stressful to play against. It's very rare you can beat the best hands.
Breeding Pool's going to enter the battlefield untapped. Jessup down to 14. This, oh, boy. Vines of the Vastwood, huh? Well, if he's starting there, if you're going to Path, you got to do it now.
Yep.
So makes you wonder if Jessup was playing around a burn spell as opposed to Path Exile.
Right. He might be playing. He might be saying, "I can beat a lightning bolt this way."
Mm-hmm.
He may not be able to beat Path. We'll see in a moment if he's got another way to play over the top.
Yep. Got him. Path pretty good here. No land to search up for Jessup either. So here's a Glistener Elf. The follow-up is a Noble Hierarch. And so what Jessup's card was actually Might of Old Croja.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he had the kill rolled up if that went through. And now Juliano in a very commanding position. Handful, removal spell, and a threat. You can see this is why Jessup has Kitchen Finks in the sideboard. If he drew a Kitchen Finks right now, it would just be great.
Yeah. It would be really, really good.
And no fanciness, no setup required. It would just be great.
And Juliano says, I'm going upstairs. Draw a card. Lava Spike.
Imagine Juliano is planning on Searing Blazing the Glistener Elf right now.
Yep. So Jessup's going to fall down to 8. 2 prowess triggers now. Beatdowns. Yep. Noble Hierarch looks like it might be on chump blocking duty, and it is.
It's a pretty sharp play here from Juliano not casting the Lava Spike, although if he was going to do it anyway, then I guess I would have preferred to do it ahead of time.
Okay.
I thought that he was going to save it because he knows Jessup has to chump block this turn and wants prowess triggers for the following turn to be able to force another chump block.
Sure.
If he was going to cast it post-combat, then whatever, I would have preferred to cast it ahead of time, but there is an argument there for just holding back and loading up 2 more prowess triggers on your attack the following turn.
You know, what we saw there is Jessup could, on that previous turn where Jessup kind of went for it, leading off with Vine, Jessup could beat any burn spell, but he couldn't beat something like a Path or a Dismember.
Yeah.
That's what he ran into. Now you see Juliano saying here, Lightning Helix, Lava Spike. He says, I'm going to cast this, and then I think we might just see Lightning Helix here too. I think starting with attacking is smart. There's your jump block. We might see a pump spell here. Nope. Thus, Lightning Helix you. That's going to do it. Christopher Juliano's going to win this match over Andrew Jessup. 2-0. Burn. Going to take care of Infect. And Christopher Juliano, 7 wins, 0 losses.
And a bit of an upset, too. I think this matchup is pretty close, and the modifications that Juliano has made for his deck for this weekend definitely detrimental in the Infect matchup, but had very solid draws. Both games, Jessup kind of fumbled around, and the margin for error isn't that big where Jessup can afford to have really below average hands and still be able to win the matchup.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that Juliano kind of snuck out of this one. Like, it's not that I think it's a bad matchup. I just don't think he has all the tools like you mentioned. Like no Lava Mancers out the 75. Stuff like that.
Right.